It's time for another Dice Tower review with Randy White and Mark Streed.
Hello folks, welcome to Board Game Corner. I'm Mark.
And I'm Randy.
This week we're taking a look at Liftoff. Get Me Off This Planet.
Liftoff is produced by Pencil First Games. It plays 2 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, and it takes about 45 minutes before the planet explodes.
Alright, so we better hurry and get off this planet.
Well, it's been a fun existence, but someone tripped over a coolant cord in the core, and the planet you've called home for eons is going to explode. Sadly, the Great Alien Council never considered this possibility. Looks like you're going to have to use your wits and every means at your disposal to escape. Get Me Off This Planet can be heard echoing throughout the core. The objective of Liftoff is to be the first player to get their 10 aliens off the planet using liftoff points, game cards, and phases of the moon to escape. During the game, players are going to use their turn to move their aliens out of the core of the planet onto the surface. From there, you can use fuel and screw resource cards in order to move onto the launch platforms of each liftoff point. These liftoff points each require a different resource and phase of the moon to take off. Action cards are used to assist in getting your aliens off the planet or to block others. To start off, you place the planet core on the center of the board. Place the 4 exit points, then randomly select and place 4 liftoff points around the core. So the pieces create a small planet. So let's take a closer look at one of these liftoff points. The rocket ship icon in the upper left indicates the tile is a liftoff point. The alien icon indicates the maximum number of aliens that can stand on the platform. These icons indicate the required action, phases of the moon, and or resource cards needed to lift off. The yellow arrow icon indicates the cost to place a simple alien on the platform. When you pay the cost with fuel, screw, or action cards, they are placed on the tile. There are 10 different liftoff points. Some even require that you roll dice to determine the launch effect or cost. The 10 liftoff points are Bonfire, Satellite, Rocket Ship, Jetpack, Trampoline, Miracle, UFO, Teleport, Slingshot, and the Stargate, which is my favorite. The day track moves when the moon token reaches a full rotation around the planet and lands on the star icon. If the moon moves backward over the star icon, then the day moves back as well. But once the sun hits the explosion point on the day track, the game ends and the player with the most saved aliens wins. The moon phases are determined by the location of the moon token on the moon track in relation to each individual liftoff point. If the moon token is above a liftoff point, then it's a full moon. If the moon token is on the complete opposite side of the board, then it's a new moon. And if it's anywhere in between, then it's a half moon. All the liftoff points have moon phase icons that show the liftoff cost.
A closer look at the action cards. Move the moon. Simply, you can move the moon in either direction. Move your alien. You get an extra movement action. Terraform allows you to swap out any empty launch platform. Supernova. All liftoff points are now full moon for the remainder of the player's turn. Asteroids. All liftoff points are now new moon for the remainder of the player's turn. Tornado. All aliens not on a launch platform are blown back to the core. Electric Storm forces all players to discard all their cards. And lastly, Garglor. You can move him to any liftoff point. He then blocks the aliens from launching until he is moved from that spot. You may also move him back to the lava in the core with this card. He also returns to the lava anytime the moon touches the star at the top of the board.
So let's take a look at a turn. A player starts their turn by drawing 2 cards from the draw pile. Now the nice thing is that you can do any of the following actions in any order at any time. But first let's take a look at movement. You can take 2 movement actions, moving 1 alien twice or 2 aliens once. You can pay any number of action cards or resource cards in any order. using your resource cards to pay launch, platform, or liftoff costs. Using action cards to give aid to your alien or hinder your fellow aliens. Then lastly, end your turn by moving the moon token counterclockwise 1 spot around the planet. The first person to save all 10 of their aliens wins. However, if the planet explodes first, the player with the most saved aliens wins.
All right, so what did we think of this game? Well, it's a very family friendly. It's definitely a lighter game.
Yeah, it is a light game.
But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. The early game when you first start off with the simpler exits or the liftoff points,
Right.
it wasn't quite as fun. But when you mix everything in with the terraforming and with all the harder or more difficult liftoff points, it definitely adds a little more challenge to the game. And the nice thing is that it plays so quick that you can get multiple games in really fast.
Right, absolutely.
And it was really fun. And the artwork and components are top notch. Really huge kudos.
Yeah.
Straight up awesome for that.
Yeah, nice heavy duty cardboard pieces.
Yep.
And you'll find yourself playing and stacking the little alien meeples
Exactly.
after you manage to rescue them from the planet.
Like stack them in pyramids and call them the Cirque du Soleil meeples.
That's right.
But yeah, the game is really fun. As far as like a family friendly, lighter game, it just was enjoyable. It's easy to have conversation while you play, and the little characters are fun, and everyone we played with found it engaging.
Now the game does have fairly linear scoring, so
Yes, it does.
there's no Euro characteristics.
No,
You're not going
not
to
at
say,
all.
"Well, I can score this way or I can score this way."
It's straight up.
It's straight up American type game.
Yes,
It's
it is.
linear scoring. There's a part of my brain. I'm not a drinker by any means, but there's a part of me that says you could turn this into a drinking game, and that anybody who doesn't take off a particular platform, they have to drink. Or you could say anybody who does take off that platform gets a piece of candy or whatever.
Yeah.
But there are certainly ways you could expand it if you wanted to. But as it is, it makes for a very light, family friendly, easy to engage game. Now it does say it's for ages 13 and up, and I believe that's only for legal reasons because younger kids might be considered
Tempted to swallow
these. Maybe I don't know. When I was in 5th grade,
I think you could get younger kids to play.
I think that this is most younger kids, will say even 8, maybe 10 and up, have the mental capacity to be able to learn and play this game and enjoy it. Yeah.
Yep. And I think it's one of those games that I would easily break out at like a Thanksgiving or a family who aren't so inclined to be playing board games.
Right.
It would be easy to engage them, which is, I'm always on the lookout for games like that I can easily take to family or friends' houses that don't typically play games. And I would definitely show this to pretty much any of them.
Yeah, my parents would enjoy it when they came to visit, or even the average group who aren't inclined to think multiple moves ahead. This is not a strategic game.
No.
It's a tactical game.
Yeah.
And you will think maybe a couple moves ahead to say, hey, so and so is moving there. I'll move there to block them or something like that.
Right.
And there's a little bit of a gotcha element too. So if you don't,
which is pretty fun.
If you don't have any tolerance for people blocking you or doing nasty things to you,
you could get kind of mean, but it's not like
it's not a bad mean.
It's not like backstabbing.
So the cards that let you take away everybody else's cards, or the monster in the middle. When you position him so that people can't take off a particular platform, that's a little bit of a mean thing. But it's light, and it's not anything that people won't forgive you for. So just keep that in mind, though.
Yeah, I think the Garglor thing, he really adds a little fun.
Garglor is fun.
You can block people from leaving the planet, which is awesome.
And it's not permanent, and it won't be a game changer, but it will be. You can help. Everybody can collaborate to stop the person who might be in the lead, and maybe even things out.
Yeah, and I do like the aspect of there's a little bit of feeling of pressure.
Absolutely.
You got to get off. The countdown's happening.
Yeah.
I think it's been pretty even. We've had the planet explode on us, and we finished. 10 alien meeples have gotten off before it exploded. But it's always like, are we going to make it before that last day?
Right. Yeah. Right.
I want to get one more off. So it definitely has a decent feeling, and really, I found it engaging for the family, and
was just a good time.
And it does have good table appeal, meaning once you
Yeah.
set it up,
It's people come by. What is
yeah,
that?
what is that? So I think if you do say this after Thanksgiving, people are digesting their food and don't have a lot of blood in their brains, this is something that you could put at the table and say, hey, let's at least sit around the table instead of sleep on various couches around the house. And that's a good thing. It's a good
I
thing
would
for that.
agree. All right, so let's give this a rating then. So I'm going to say that based on the family friendliness and easy to engage folks, I'm going to give it a solid 3 out of 4 corners.
And I will actually do the same thing. I think it's a very light but fun, family friendly, and also just group friendly game when people aren't feeling like really investing a lot of mental energy in a strategic game.
Easy to carry on conversation.
Yeah.
And just, it's my turn.
And it's fast, and if somebody dominates and gets all their meeples out and you end up only getting 2, there's no, I got squashed by this game.
Right,
This is not a game you walk away from feeling beaten up,
Not
even
at
if you
all.
lose. So it's just a fun game.
Just a fun, good time.
Yeah.
So, folks, that's our review this week. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Unless the planet explodes, and then we won't do it.
That would be bad.
Yes, it would.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.